Welcome back, everyone. This is Marketing Mondays podcast on the Soaring High Network. I'm your host, Noah, with Soaring High Marketing Solutions. And yes, it's going to be a full network of different shows covering marketing, advertising, entrepreneurship. We've got a lot of things planned and in store for you guys. So, super excited to have all of these different things unveiled slowly but surely. We're building up this channel, we're building up our social media, we're building up our client database and a list of clients. We're here growing, we're scaling, we're going nationwide with this. So it doesn't matter where you guys are tuning in from. We want to help you get more business, get more clients, grow your revenue. Want to help you guys to 10x your business. So it doesn't matter where you're at. We want to help you with having the right marketing growth systems in place to help you install client acquisition systems into your business, your practice, whether you're a roofer, contractor, med spa owner, you name it, whatever business, whatever niche that you're in, whichever market area, we want to help you to grow, scale, and be able to dominate your local market. So got a super excited show here for you guys planned out. Um, just going through my notes. I got so many content ideas, so many topics, so many things, but put in the comment section below. What are some topics you guys want to hear about? I'm also going to start doing a live Q&A show over on my Facebook profile. I'm going to then put clips here on Instagram, and then I'll put the full thing over on YouTube. Here, YouTube. So make sure you guys follow me across all the different social platforms. I have to get my subscribers list here on YouTube up. I got to get my Instagram followers up. That way I can go ahead and start live streaming on those platforms. But hey, man, you gotta start where you're at. And the great thing is that you guys are going to see the journey. You guys are going to see the come up. And if you guys want to be a part of it, then for sure, let's get connected and see how we can help each other get to those higher levels. But super excited show for today. Today's topic is going to be about building marketing assets. Today's age, people want to see where they put the money in. What type of assets class do we buy? Do we go into real estate, multifamily, crypto? Do we buy stocks? Do we trade Forex? There's so many different investment vehicles out there. But as a business owner, there is no greater ROI. There's no greater investment that you can make first in yourself. Number two, in your business, because whatever you put into your business, you're going to see a 10-fold, 100-fold return into your business as long as you're, investing into your marketing, investing into your people, investing into training them, and being able to then put people in the right places to help you get aligned and build, grow, and scale. That's the name of the game, to build a business that can run without you. Can you give me some feedback on this? Some background story is just different things that I consume. Different content. The kind of idea kind of came from, I think, originally from Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. If you guys are familiar with it, there's the cash flow quadrant, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about cash flow quadrant, the E's, the I's, the B's, the S's. Basically it takes you an employee, self-employed. Then on the left-hand side, people that trade time for money, and then on the right-hand side you have the business owner, big business. Because over on the left-hand side you have small self-employed or small business, usually self-employed or solopreneurs that, don't really employ people or have anybody really working for them, maybe an assistant or two or a VA or something like that. But you want to transition over to the right side of the quadrant, which is the B's. B's is big business, and the I's. The I's are the investors. So the B's, they build assets, they build businesses that produce cash flow, and then they become I's, which then become investors, which is basically then they're taking their money and having it work for them. So they're trading their money now for time because now they have time freedom, they got cash flow, they have their investments growing. So that's kind of the concepts is that you want to move over to the right hand side. So the B's, you build businesses, and I's, you acquire assets. So you gotta always be protecting your assets. So assets is the name of the game. You gotta be in the game of acquiring assets. But the great thing as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is that we have the great blessing to be able to build our asset, basically build our business, our baby from the ground up, and be able to have it produce for not just us, but also for our employees, for our partners who we have bring on investors in the future, and also, of course, for our clients, the ones that we serve with our services or with our products. So that's kind of the background theme that came to me. But when it comes to context of marketing, is that, you know, marketing, there's different assets that you can be producing in marketing, meaning that these are assets that you build once, you optimize, and they can be producing for you time and time and time again. So it's about marketing assets, what every business must build to grow and scale. And because most businesses are doing some type of marketing, but they're just not building the right type of assets. They're posting on social, they're trying to recreate some of these trends, these reels. They're relying on referrals, word of mouth. They try an ad campaign here and there, run some type of promotion, but they're trying different things, but nothing really compounds. Because in marketing is like the eighth wonder of the world. It's a compound interest, is that the more you do it and the more type of right assets that you build and you put into the marketplace, the more it's going to compound over time, that you can produce it once, let it sit there, and then it's going to be producing for you time and time and time again. So that's what I'm talking about today, is building these type of marketing assets that work for you 24/7. So, and that's why, because they're trying to do marketing, they're trying to do all these different things, they're trying to see what sticks, what works. But again, you got to be consistent. Marketing requires consistency in the marketplace. People got to see you over and over and over again. And many times people don't need to be taught new things. They sometimes need to be reminded of things. So that's why you make your core message, your core concept, your core avatar, your core client that you serve, the core thing that you sell, that you promote. You gotta have to kind of repackage it in a way, represent it, in a new type of bundle. But again, you're hitting on the same, pain points, same features, same transformations that you want to sell. So you stay stuck because you don't let your marketing compound for you. You're not building the right type of assets that can be producing for you when you're not working, when you're not marketing, when you're not advertising. Obviously, marketing, advertising are, never ending things, because you're always looking to optimize, always looking to improve, always looking to acquire more market share. But you got to make sure that you're building the right assets, because ads, they bring attention, but the assets that you have in place is what's going to keep it and what's going to multiply it. So ads, like I have always said, is an accelerator. It helps to, scale. It helps you to get, it's like an accelerator to get in front of your audience, to get in leads coming into the business. But what happens after that? What happens after the lead comes in? That's where the name of the game is. It's not so much in just the lead generation, but you got to have the lead nurture, the lead conversion, and then the lead retention, so they don't go off to somebody else. So let me break it down. So what is a marketing asset? And a marketing asset is something that you build once and that continues to work for you over time. It's kind of like a digital employee, an AI employee, if you want to name it like that, a digital employee. It's something that you produce it, you create it, you build it once, and it continues to work for you over time. So, for example, I'm gonna get into deeper ones, but just kind of go over a brief list. It's gonna be your website, your digital storefront, the content that you produce, both images, video, audio. Yeah, it's gonna be your, all of that when it comes to, written imagery, audio, visual, all of that stuff. Your email list, which is gonna be the biggest, your email list or your database, your SEO rankings, and of course, your database, your book of business, both past clients, current clients, leads that you generate, while you're marketing and advertising. So these are things that you actually own, that you are in control of, that you're not, renting, that you're not, trying to, borrow at a time. It's great to collaborate with other collaborators, other influencers, other people in your market. But again, it's just to go in there, tap into their audience, and then try to bring in that audience over to your ecosystem. But there are forms to leverage that as well, using other people's platforms, other people's audiences. So, just a contrast, ads is like granted attention, because they see it once, they may see it twice, and then you're always changing up the ads, especially with today's day and age with, Andromeda, the features, they kind of want more creatives on the platform, because the creative is kind of how they're able to identify who is a target audience, to show those ads to. And then again, your assets that you build is the owned attention that you have. So ads, it's rented attention. Your assets that you build is with your owned attention that you own. So if you stop marketing today, will you still get leads? That's a question you gotta ask yourself. If I stop my marketing, if I stop my advertising, not that you're just relying on referrals or word of mouth, but if what you have been building is that going to produce for you in the long run? And if it's not, then you gotta okay, say it's time for me to start building those type of assets because most businesses fail because they focus on activities, on different marketing things that they're trying, but they don't build systems and they do not build assets. So you want to be building marketing systems, and within those marketing systems are your marketing assets, and not just focusing on marketing activities. A lot of times when business owners work with marketing agencies, that agency just gives them like a to-do list. Okay, we did A, one, two, three, A, B, C. We did some backlinks, we did some blogs, we posted some content, they're just kind of reporting on what they're doing, but not really having a clear strategy behind that reporting on exactly why are we doing what we're doing, what actually is producing, what's actually getting results. Some agencies out there just kind of like, order takers, whatever the client wants, that's what we do for them. They don't really put their 2 cents, their input, their opinion in it, because sometimes the client may not know what's best for them, especially, us running so many different type of campaigns, working with so many industries and so many different verticals. Like we know what's working, what's not working, what's performing, what's not performing. So whatever it is that we do suggest, that we do strategize, that we do propose, it's because there's a strategy and a method behind the madness. So a lot of agencies out there are just note takers, they're just, order takers. Yeah, whatever the client wants, we'll do. But if it doesn't bring any results, it's because that's not the business owner's forte. That's not why he hired you. He didn't hire you just to go ahead and, you know, do whatever he wanted, but to actually, okay, take what he says. Okay, does it make sense? Can we apply it? Is the right moment for it? Or do we have to kind of, based on the strategy, based on the budget, based on the call to actions, based on the end goal, what's the best route to take? And that's where we come in, not just as marketers, but as strategists, to really dissect the business and see where they're at, where they want to go, and how do we fill in that gap between where they're at and where do they want to go. So that's why I always say having a strategy before you start marketing is key. It's vital. It's crucial because the strategy is going to dictate the different plays that you make in the marketing game. What platforms, how many posts, what type of campaigns to run, what's the messaging, what's the offer you should run. So again, it starts with the strategy first, then we start building the marketing systems, then we start building the assets to put within the system. And when I just here doing some random marketing activities, saying that we did marketing, we tried it, we're doing it, to see if it works, to see if this happens. That's not the approach that we have when it comes to marketing because we want to get you good results, get you good, feedback, get you good clients coming in the door, bringing the cash register, increasing your revenue that you have for your business. Because again, you make more money, we make more money, we're all making money together. There's plenty of money to go around for everyone. So the reason why most businesses fail is because they're focusing on marketing activities, which I've shared in previous episodes, that is disconnected services. They have maybe different agencies doing different things because not all agencies are geared to run a full system. Some of them are just handle, a service, a part of the system, but not the full system, the way Soaring High Marketing operates. So most businesses fail because their focus is on marketing activities, not marketing growth systems, not client acquisition systems, not building marketing assets. They're just posting randomly. They're running inconsistent ads. They have no follow-up in place, no follow-up process, no sales process. They don't track the leads that are coming in. They don't call them back. They have no database. They have no nurturing campaigns. They have no SMS. They have no special call to actions. They have none of that. So every month they're starting from zero, trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to see what's going to work this month, what's going to help us to make it happen this month. And again, you cannot run and operate your business like that because it's not sustainable. So when you have no assets, you have no leverage. Just like in real estate, the name of the game, playing Monopoly, is to acquire as many assets as you can, and that's how you create real leverage. So let's break it down into categories. This is the core marketing assets that you need for your business. And if you don't have any of these, then we got to take a look at it and we got to go ahead and get these going. The first one is going to be your home base. It's going to be the foundation to everything. I always say it's going to be your website. because this is your digital storefront. This is your online business card. This is, what people are going to look at when they first come across your business. So you must have a clear offer on your website. You must have a booking system installed on there. It has to have a fast load speed, and it has to be optimized for mobile and tablet. One thing that we're seeing with some of the SEO campaigns and paid ads campaigns that we're running for our clients is that a lot of conversion is happening just on mobile, which means people are using their phones more to go ahead and search, to go ahead and research, to go ahead and interact on social and all of that. So mobile, your website has to be mobile friendly, mobile optimized. So this is the foundation to your business. It's going to be your website. So this applies to med spas. Med spas, you got to have treatment pages on your website. A page dedicated for each of the different treatments, each of the different services that you offer and provide. You got to have within those also have before and afters, the transformations that you guys accomplish for your clients. And you're gonna have some type of booking funnel or some type of booking system of how people can, yeah, call you, email you to schedule, but also some clients are very more hands off because they want to be um able to book without having to call anybody, not having to talk to anybody. So you gotta have a way for them to book online booking features, whether it can be a web chat, an AI receptionist, whether it be some type of booking link on your website installed. So you got to have all these different things within the website to ensure that it's going to be geared for conversions. A lot of people have websites, but they're not geared for conversions. They're just, aesthetically pleasing sites that they took many months to build themselves with fancy photos and videos, but on the back end is not geared for conversion. Same thing applies for home services, for roofers, plumbers, contractors. You're going to have service pages for all the different services that you provide with different location areas as well. You can also dive into local SEO pages when you start targeting the keywords and you start targeting the service plus the city that you guys do business in. That's going to be key to ranking on Google, ranking on AI search, and being able to be found across multiple platforms. If you put the city plus the service that you provide, so if your website doesn't convert, then you can go ahead and waste the traffic that any type of SEO campaigns are going to be pushing to it. Because if it's not optimized for conversion, then all the leads are going to fall by the wayside through the cracks. They're not going to convert into an actual lead for your business. So you're going to see some of the numbers go up with click-through rate, with traffic, with monthly visitors. But if it's not geared for conversions, then you're not going to see lead forms filled out, booked appointments on your calendar, inquiries, by phone or through maps or, direct call to your business. So if your website's not geared for conversion, then you're obviously wasting traffic that's being sent there. So you can try to outspend as much as you can, but there's no point in spending any type of marketing dollars into things that are not going to convert. That's why we always start with the end in mind and we reverse engineer the process and we start with the foundation, which is your website. Number two is going to be your SEO and your search presence, because this is what's going to help build long-term visibility on the platforms in the internet online world. So this includes, your Google rankings, being listed on Google Maps. This is the blog content you have on your website, different blogs, articles, backlinks that you put, breaking down different services, different things that you guys offer. So that falls within the local SEO, because I always say a good SEO campaigns, if you invest into it long enough, hard enough, that it's any SEO campaign can outdo any paid ad campaign, but it just takes time to build up that compounding momentum, that compounding interest, that compounding, you know, to get that true ROI. That's why you always got to combine the local SEO with paid ads. You can do Google PPC, Google ads. You can do meta ads, meta, geofencing, retargeting ads as well. But you always want to be combining the paid traffic with organic traffic with organic content. That way you create, I would say, that 1-2 punch within your marketing systems. So SEO is gonna be crucial and be vital, especially how things have adapted with online search. with SEO, AEO, GEO, search now moving on to the AI platform, search engines, voice search, all these different things, because you got to keep in remember when clients are ready to book, they don't scroll, they search. When clients, patients, they're ready to book an appointment, are they ready to use a service or use a treatment, they're not there scrolling on social, they're searching online, trying to find what it is that they're looking for. So SEO is going to be crucial. Number three is going to be social media content, because this is what's going to help you build trust and authority in the marketplace, because people got to see you over and over and over again. And there's different types of content you can be posting on social. You got to be doing video content with video marketing. Video can be broken down into reels. You got to be doing client testimonials, before and afters, educational content that you're providing, and also carousels. So you're going to have a mix of, images, text, and video content on your social platforms to be hitting viewers and hitting your followers from all different angles of all different things. A quote post here, a customer breakdown there, before and after transformations, a reel of behind the scenes, a day in the life of a med spa owner, day in the life of a roofer, you on the actual job site, you in the actual treatment room. So there's so many different ways that we can get creative when it comes to social, because your socials, you guys are building trust, building authority by sharing your knowledge, sharing who you guys are, sharing your story. That's why it's always key when you're doing content, not just try to reenact all the trending reels, but be yourselves, be true to who you are, and let people that identify with you, resonate with you, be able to gravitate and be able to, be attracted to you. So, be able to post content, be active on there, all different types of social platforms. The great thing is that you create one piece of content, then you can always repurpose it onto the other platforms. But you got to be on camera, you got to be seen. Somebody in the business got to be seen. You got to highlight the business, you got to highlight what it is that you do, show the behind the scenes, show the journey, document it. There's so many different ways for us to, capture content nowadays. So because content is what people binge before they buy. People binge watch, people binge episodes, people binge your reels, your information, your YouTube videos, your podcast. They binge that before they decide to actually transact with you. I think the saying is that it takes about 15 hours for someone to consume your content before they actually, transact with you. Just like in sales, you need multiple touches when it comes to sales, when it comes to follow up, when it comes to closing the deal. Same thing too. You gotta have enough content on your social platforms, on your YouTube channel, for potential um, buyers and prospects to go ahead and binge watch before they actually decide to transact with you. Yeah, it's all about the call to action, call to action, call to action at the end of every video, post, and thing. But if people consume your content long enough and they go deep enough with it and they resonate with it and they're getting value out of it, eventually the next step for them to say is, okay, what's the next step? How do I actually transact with them? What else do they have to offer? Because they're giving me a lot of free game here. I can only imagine how good his stuff is, his paid stuff is. If he's giving a lot of the sauce, a lot of, if you're letting my boy cook here on the free platforms, just imagine how much, he delivers on the back end once it's actually a paid result, paid course or paid, mentorship or whatever the case is, paid service. You can just imagine how it is on the back end. It's, they're delivering so much for you on the front end. So you got to have enough content on there for people to binge watch it. And you got to create, the great thing about social is that it stays there forever. The good and the bad is that whatever you post online stays on there, but that creates what we call like evergreen content that stays. You post it once and it lives on forever, and then people, they come across your profile, they come across your ad, then they start going to your YouTube, they go into your Instagram, your TikTok, they go into your website, they read all these different blogs, all these different things that you build years ago, you made years ago. And granted, hey, you may say, I wasn't the best on camera back then. I didn't look the same way I look now back then. I'm not knowledgeable as I am now as back then. I'm still in the grind, early growing phase. But again, they connect with you at that stage, and then they see also the evolution in your messaging, in your offer, in your content. So is a great way to have that evergreen content live on social so people can binge watch it, and that's how you build trust and become an authority in your space, in your industry, in your local market area. So once we have that going, we have a website, we have local SEO, we got social content, being posted out there. Eventually, those organic ways of marketing are going to produce leads, and then they're going to help you to build up your database of clients, of contacts, your database of old leads if you run any type of ad campaigns. The name of the game is to be building your database. Your database is going to be the most crucial thing because then you combine automations with email and text marketing. This is going to be your most underrated asset. Why? Because you can follow up anytime. You don't rely on any of the algorithms. You're not, depending upon if they see this or they see that. Not dependent upon if the platform is going to show them my content or not. And then the great thing is then you can increase by email marketing, you can increase the lifetime value of that client for entering your ecosystem, for entering your funnel, for being on your email list, for you having access to that content. I mean, to that data. Name of the game is data. You want to be collecting data to be building your database with names, emails, phone numbers, because now you have contact. You can shoot them text, you can shoot them emails with different promotions, different call to actions. Whether you're trying to promote a podcast, promote a promotion, a sale, just trying to get business back in the door. This is when it can be great for retention marketing and reactivation marketing. Database and reactivation marketing is that we go into your CRM, we go into your list of contact, we go ahead and then leverage that to then give them limited time offers, one-time offers to get them reactivated, get them back onto a conversation with you to be able to transact with you. Because the name of the game is the money is made in the follow-up. The money is made in the follow-up. You got to be always staying top of mind, be relevant, be educational, be interesting, be entertaining, be engaging, but you got to be following up with the list that you've been building. So your database is going to be crucial because email marketing is not dead. You don't listen to those gurus out there saying email marketing is dead. It's a lie because email marketing is great because you own that database. You're not relying on some other platform. Tomorrow you can get shit. Tomorrow you can get shut down from Facebook. Tomorrow Instagram can go away. And all that list of followers is, did you capture that information? Did you convert that into an actual lead? Because if not, if those platforms go away, what are you left with? What do you have to work with? What is that going to be in your arsenal, in your tool belt, in your toolbox, that then you can go back into the marketplace and be able to dominate? But if you're building out your database, you're collecting name, numbers, and emails, you build up the database, and then you have the data of your clients. You're able to hit them up anytime, not relying on social platforms, not relying on the algorithms to show them your content. And the great thing about that, for the time being, while the platform is still up, you upload that database, you upload that email list into Meta, and then you let the algorithm, you let it find those people on that list, retarget them, and then you create lookalike audiences. So then people are able to then, okay, go ahead and find me people that are similar to the people that just bought from me already. From my list of clients, let me find more people. Let me duplicate it. Let me multiply it. Let me be able to, make a copy of it, duplicate it. So you have a list of 1,000, boom, you can jump up to 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 10,000 in no time, because then from there you just start leveraging that data and information to create more of what it is that you need. So the great thing is crucial is to build that database. You build the database by your content, by paid ads to fill the top of the funnel. You got to be always filling the top of the funnel. Top of the funnel every day, bringing in new leads, new customers, new people into your ecosystem, and then having the marketing assets, your content, your videos, your blogs, your images to then nurture, bombard them with your content, bombard them with your services so that, we can get them to convert over to our client. So this is going to be the most underrated asset is going to be your email list that you build because you can tap into it anytime. You can always hit them up. You can make offers, special offers within that. And then you're increasing the lifetime value of that client because you already paid to get them into the door. You already paid to acquire their information. Now it's okay. What's the next step? What's the next level from this? So the way you get them into your email database is by creating other assets such as funnels, and landing pages. These are the websites, the special pages that are geared to convert. These landing pages and funnels, they convert the traffic into actual leads. The difference between websites, landing pages, funnels is that, typically landing pages and funnels are geared with one call to action, promoting one service, promoting one outcome, one thing that you're giving away, maybe a lead magnet, maybe a checklist, whatever the case is that you're promoting. The key is having that information. So the landing pages, the funnels is geared to one call to action, one service, one treatment, compared to a website. The website has everything that you do. So you got to combine the ads that you're running and then drive that traffic, not to your website. That's a mistake a lot of people make, is that they drive them back to the website, and then the website is a full buffet. They don't even know what they want. Something maybe throws them off. Maybe something, they don't resonate with. Instead of bringing them down the funnel, bringing them to one call to action. That's why a lot of people, when they run ads, they don't know where to drive that traffic to, and because they drive it to the wrong place, then it doesn't convert, because you're basically catching a fish from the ad, bringing it through the funnel, and then you throw it back into the ocean, going back to your website, and then hoping that they find their way back to the boat. That's basically what a lot of people do, is that they're paying for leads, but they don't capture the information of that lead. They don't capture the data of that lead, because they're sending that traffic to places that is just too open, and then instead of driving them down just one avenue, one lane, one funnel, one call to action, book an appointment, book a consultation, book a strategy session, receive this PDF guide, this lead magnet, whatever the case is. You got to have landing pages and funnels that you build once. Every now and then we analyze it, we optimize it to be improving it, be changing it. But we got to look at more is, okay, is it the ads that are not bringing the right people to the funnel, or is the funnel itself not really producing the leads that we want? So then you can play with the funnel, you can play with the ads, they kind of be A/B testing to see, okay, is it the hook? Is it the ad copy? Is it the call to action? Is it the messaging? Is it the offer? Is it, the load speed? Is it the visuals? Is it the way it's structured? So many different intricacies, so many different nuances when you're talking about running ads and funnels and landing pages, because then you have that, and then that's when it takes them to capturing the information. That's when you gain their name, their number, their email, and that becomes another asset and then use. And then again, you have your content, and then be able to hit the list. So again, you see, I have all these different services, all these different things work together when you have the right strategy, when you build the right system, when you build the assets to put into the system to be able to, execute the strategy. So it all works together. Marketing isn't disconnected to see what works, but it's okay. How can we tie it all in together? How can we put it to work for our best use? So you have to keep in mind that traffic without conversion is wasted. If you send in traffic, you brought in leads, you brought in, traffic, interest, attention, but you're not able to convert that into a conversion by capturing information, you basically wasted, that campaign, that ad spend, whatever it is, it's basically nothing to show for it at the end of the day. And so then when you have that, then you put them into your CRM. You have automated systems in place. This is going to be the back end engine. Right now we're focused on the front end, which is the lead engine. Just build the lead engine, just build it, customize it, improve it, and that way it starts producing for you. And then the CRM with automations is the back end. It's going to track the leads you get, when to make follow-up calls, book follow-up appointments, keep track of bookings, who's on the agenda, who's on the calendar, how do we track the conversions that we're getting. So again, that's going to be sending SMS messages, email sequences, reminders, having an AI receptionist that can interact with the client when they call in, helping you get everything organized, helping you create everything to be systematized, how to be more efficient in it. Because again, the name of the game is, okay, we build it, but then you got to put it somewhere. So then you get the list, you get the traffic to the landing pages, you collect the information, and then we got to put that information to use. Okay, now we got to create the email drip campaigns, email sequences. We're going to send out text, SMS marketing, two-way communication with the client, with the prospects, with the leads that we generate. So all these different things, because again, if you have no CRM, you have no client database, you basically have no control over your business. Every month, going back out there, throwing stuff in the air to see what sticks, see whatever you can bring in. But if you can have a database, a CRM with your contact list, then that's how you can also create predictable growth into your business. And so all of those different things, is basically the name of the game is to build a content library. This is gonna be your long-term authority. So like I said, it could be your blogs, it could be videos, it could be podcasts. This is the evergreen content that compounds. Because once you do it once, it lives there forever. People come back and find it, they see it, they like it, they interact with it, and then again, and then they go down the rabbit hole of your content, looking at anything and everything that you posted, which could be for years ago. But that same message back then resonates with them now because where you were back then, the message you're delivering back then is what they need to hear now because that's where they're at now in their journey. Whether they're searching, researching, whether they're comparing, whatever the case is, now that message is hitting home for them. Maybe they had to go through certain things, to get to that place, and now they're coming back around. And that's why the money, I said, is made in the follow-up. You got to stay top of mind. You got to stay relevant. You got to stay committed to the marketing game. Be creative. Find creative ways to reach out, creative ways to follow up, creative ways to stay in communication with your audience, with your database, with your client list. And then from there, once you get them into actual clients, get them to convert, then you start creating assets as referrals, testimonials, and case studies. You know, that's going to help build instant trust with your audience because they're going to see the Google reviews, they're going to see the video testimonials, they're going to see before and after transformations. They're going to be able to see all of that online and say, okay, look, this person's got to be doing something right. He's delivering results. He's a man of his word. He does what he says. I see everything else that he's doing, but now let me hear people actually have worked with him, done business with them, and can actually testify on their behalf and say good things about them. And then that social proof is what the content you use to close deals. Because people, yeah, they hear what you got to say, but they want to see that you can actually deliver what it is that you say you can deliver. So that social proof is going to help close deals. That's what I'm saying. Your content can be used to generate the leads. It can be used to nurture the lead. It can be used to convert the lead. That's part of the convertibility and the Soaring High framework is that you got to get found on search. You got to stay visible and you have to ultimately have that lead to a conversion and then to a retention. And then we get creative on how do we retain, how do we upsell, how do we cross sell, how do we then get into ascend to a different higher ticket package or offer. There's so many different ways that we use these marketing assets within our marketing strategy. So again, you got to have a system, you got to have strategy, you got to have assets to deploy to go out into the marketplace to work for you and be able to produce the results that you wanted to produce. And then from that, then we got data, then we get analytics, and this is how we improve and how we optimize. So we got to track, our numbers, track the cost per lead, track the number of conversions, track the ROI, revenue generated, the cost per booked appointment, number of clicks, views, likes, number of, engagement, the watch time, all these different analytics and metrics that these platforms provide for us to go in there, take a deep dive, do an analysis on, and then see exactly what's working, what's not, how can we tune it, how can we change it up, how can we make a variation of it so that it keeps on producing for us. So you got to be analyzing your data, analyzing the metrics, analyzing the analytics that the platforms produce to always be able to optimize, improve, and then scale that. So we got to tie it together. Like I said, you build the marketing assets and then you combine those assets and create the system, the marketing growth system for your business. So the flow is like, you got to get traffic, you got to get content, you got to get leads, you got to follow up with them, you got to convert them, and you got to retain them. That's kind of like the flywheel, name of the game is that. That's how businesses grow and scale. So, with a med spa, you start with someone doing inquiry on body contouring. What's the better devices between, the Morpheus or the Legacy or the Venus or, the Alma, whatever it is that, your device that you guys use. There's dime a dozen companies out there, but, they research the topic. They find your blog, they become a lead, they fill out a form, they book an appointment, they book a consultation. And then, okay, then how do we get them to the door to actually show up to the appointment? How do we then close them, convert them, and then have them keep coming back? Maybe not just for that one service, but what other services that can complement that one service, when they come in for body contouring, somebody with a massage, a facial, Botox, laser hair removal, tattoo removal, you name it. There's different things that we can combine. Weight loss program, dietary plans, supplements, HRT, so many different things. And we got to get creative with our offers, with our structuring to then be able to then have multiple ways that we can convert and capitalize on that lead. Like roofing companies, it's like you got to start with Google search, roofer near me, roofer in Miami, roofer in Fort Lauderdale. They got to call, they got to be entered into your data. That information gets tracked into your database. And the database, you got to go ahead and do a follow up. You got to go ahead and book the appointment. You got to set a reminder for the appointment. Then you got to go out there, give the bid, submit the bid, send it over, and then you got to, follow up to close the deal. Dental, you go on the ads to a landing page, they book a consultation, then you got to close the deal, and then retain them so they keep coming back every 6 months to do a teeth cleaning, to get the teeth whitened, whatever, cosmetics, dentistry that you guys do. This is just different avenues, different ways you guys can kind of see the structure on how it goes, the workflow. That way to be able to tie everything that I've been sharing, tie all the different assets, put into a system, wrap it up, package it together, bundle it up, and then have it to produce for your business. So if you want to grow, stop chasing tactics and start building assets. Most businesses run ads. We build systems that compound over time to get you the views, get you the impressions, get you the leads, get you actual appointments onto your calendar. So that's the name of the game. So this is kind of what I want to share with you guys today. Because if you ask yourself, okay, if I were to stop marketing, if I were to stop advertising, which you should never do, but what if these platforms go away? Then at least you still have control of the contact list. You have access to the data, and there's no shortcuts to marketing. You can do as much of volume of this as you can, but again, your marketing, your content needs time in the marketplace for the algorithms to pick up on it, to learn more about you, to understand, identify who they should be sending this content to. I was speaking with a med spa owner last week. She wanted, to find out what is it I do. She wanted to partner up with a agency that she really wanted was just kind of shortcut the whole marketing process and be able just to go direct to affiliates because she does sell like some type of like online products from her website, some supplements, vitamins, different things, that she her product store that she has. So she wanted to build affiliates, so okay. Affiliates is great. It's another avenue, just having like referral partners, just by, having, referrals coming in, referrals from your clients as well as referrals from referral partners, people that can be bringing you business on a repeated basis. But, she just wanted to work with affiliates and, so okay, great. I mean, the idea, the name of the game is what we do is that we help you build the front end, we help you build the lead engine. So you're not reliant upon a third party, you're not relying upon somebody else, another platform, these, influencers, these content creators, these, affiliate marketers out there that can be with you today, but then they own the audience, they own the traffic, they own everything, and then you're trying to leverage it. But again, there's time and place for that. I gotta be strategic. But our big thing, the thing that we like to, showcase is that you've got to be building your own lead engine. If you don't build your own lead engine, you're always gonna be relying upon other platforms, other providers, other people. And if you really want to build, grow, and scale your business, you cannot be relying on anybody. Yes, you want to partner, collab, have affiliates, but that cannot be the only thing that you're relying on. It's like when I talk to med spa owners, they're just relying upon referrals. Okay, no, I do a good job, so my clients refer me clients. And it's free marketing, it's free advertising. I didn't pay anything to acquire this customer. That's great. Have that, but then leverage that to go into the marketplace, pay to be able to acquire new leads, to pay to get in front of the right audience, get pay to get the right, person into the door, the right type of client that you're looking for. So you got to leverage, yeah, that free marketing that you're doing and turn it into paid marketing so you can get paid, you can get the results that you're looking for. So you can get more patients, more customers, more clients. So you got to take the free 99. Awesome, great. You got them in, but you now use paid marketing. Doesn't mean you're always gonna be running ads, but pay as far as improving your website, local SEO, running content online, running paid ads, you name it, having a follow-up system, an AI receptionist, you gotta use that to convert it into get you into the marketplace to acquire more. That's why leveraging your clients, their testimonials, their case studies, you leverage that to help you acquire even more market share. So, she wanted to shortcut the process. I'm like, look, let's help you first build your own lead engine. Yeah, we can be looking out for other affiliates, as we're building that your lead engine, but you got to be control the traffic, you got to be control the visitors, you got to collect their contact information, you know, and you're splitting profits, having to give, 10, 20, 30, 40%, commissions to these influencers, to these affiliates, which I'll find it dandy. If you want to come and promote my stuff, for sure, go ahead, I'll pay you. Like I said earlier, there's enough, you know, enough to go around for everybody. So I'm a believer in that, in networking, collaborating, partnering, affiliates, pay per lead, has its realm. But these are different things that we're just trying to shortcut the process. I'm a big proponent of a build your own lead engine. You're not relying on anybody else. You're the one that's promoting, that's advertising, that's marketing, that's being into the marketplace to find your ideal audience, your ideal customers, which they're out there. They're out there looking for you, searching for you. The question is, can they find you? And if what they find of you is that good enough to retain them, to nurture them, to convert them, to become your client, to become your customer. So that's why you got to have volume in the game. You have volume in the content game. You'd have different types of content, different forms of content, different messaging, different variations. That way they can resonate, it can hit them many different ways. That's when they say, oh no, you're speaking right to me. You're speaking where I'm, that place I'm at. So all these different things, but you want to make sure that it's evergreen content. I had somebody that was only posting into their stories. But remember, stories just stay up for 24 hours. If you don't have that big of a following, if you don't have many followers, you can be putting your best stuff into the stories, but only it's going to be seen for a limited time. That's why you got to always then repurpose it to all these different social platforms, post into like a reel, a caption, an image, that when something that stays on your page, as evergreen content. So when people are scrolling, they can see one thing of you, and then the great thing now is that the new feature with Instagram is that you can kind of create that little uh, rabbit hole within Instagram, because now you can link different reels within a reel and even connect your profile on there as well. So you want to be utilizing that. You create the reel, you link a reel that can maybe be even three parts, a three-part system, the three-part, three-step process. You can be linking each one, and each one can have its own reel, its own content, and then you kind of guide them through that customer journey. There's so many different things, within marketing, and it's always growing, it's always expanding, it's always changing, it's always updating, it's always optimizing. So we got to have the right marketing partner on your team to in the know-how that's up to date, and it's always bringing you guys solutions for your business. That's what we're called, marketing solutions. We bring the solutions to your marketing so you guys can soar high. It sounds corny, but we provide marketing solutions, marketing growth systems, client acquisition systems to your business. We're using all these different services that people use, that they tested, they tried it. I tried SEO, it didn't work. Okay, how much did you put into it? How long did you do it? How much did you really put? Speaking to somebody the other day, business owner, she told me, yeah, I invested in SEO before and that thing didn't work. I logged onto her website. She hadn't posted a blog in 4 years. It's like, okay, you say you tried this maybe 4 years ago. SEO definitely has changed since then. Number one. Number two, you didn't invest into it long enough. You tried it for 1 month. Maybe they overpromised you. They under-delivered of what they told you. But how long did you invest in it for? Because SEO does take time to compound. Give it a good, could be 3 to 6, 9, 12 months for it to really produce mass results. That's why you gotta stay committed to it, because it's gonna pay off. It's not gonna pay off right now, but you're sowing the seed, you're planting deep the roots, so then when it does take off, then it's just automatic. You're getting inquiries, calls, people saying that they found you, they saw you on Google. Oh, I came across your profile. I Google found you on Google Maps. All those different things compound. Your assets compound over time. That's why marketing is a long-term game. Like I said, depending on how long you want to be in business for, you're going to be always be in the marketing business, because you're always going to be in the mode of acquiring clients, acquiring your list of business, your book of business, your database. You're going to be growing the book of business of your database. And again, you may get a client once, they may unsubscribe. Maybe you hit them 2 months, maybe they unsubscribe. And then they see another ad. Oh, snap. Okay, now they're doing this as well. Okay, now they have a special offer, a special promotion. Oh, okay, let me get back, resubscribe, and get back in there, people may forget about you. People may, but if they see you in the inbox, they see you on social, they see an ad, they see you on a banner ad, they see you within Google's display network of advertising, they see your YouTube channel, then you see an ad on YouTube. So again, all these different concepts, frameworks that I'm sharing with you guys here on Marketing Mondays, they all interconnect, they all entwine, just like search everywhere optimization. That's what I'm saying. We're going to be making you omnipresent in your space, in your marketplace, in your industry, make you the local celebrity. And that's the name of the game. So when you build their assets, this is how it can compound for you. So you got to invest into it. You got to put the time, energy, effort into it because you know it's going to have a payoff. It's going to come into flourishing. So here at Soaring High Marketing, we're not just another marketing agency. We're not just another marketer. We're just not another person here trying to sell you on something. No, we're an actual system builder for your business, from client acquisition to lead response system to revenue capture system, all these different systems, that are geared every stage of the buying process to ensure that we help you guys be seen, be heard, but ultimately convert that and monetize. Because we got to be bringing in revenue to keep growing the business. So you keep reinvesting, and we keep having that compound. That's one thing. You revenue, then you got to allocate, I say, at least 10% of the revenue back into your business, back into marketing, back into advertising, back into expansion, into acquiring equipment, training for your people, hiring new people. All that's going to flow from the marketing and all those different things you can promote and market as well on social. Hey, now we're hiring. Hey, now we're expanding. Now we got a new location, second location. Um, now we're doing more services. Now we got a new device, we got a new treatment. We do this now. So you've got to always be staying top of your game, but marketing is be the crucial part that's going to help you get to where you want to get to. So don't be cheap with your marketing. Don't be cheap with it. Don't be going around with some other watching my content and then trying to find something locally in your market and do it cheaper, undercut or whatever. But you cannot be cheap with your marketing. You cannot shortcut the process. You've got to be investing in it for the long term, for the long game. As long as you're in business, you're going to have to be doing some type of marketing. Yes, there's so many different marketing channels. You're just going to find the right one that gets you going. And then from there, you start building one stream, you build another stream, you build another stream, and then you build the whole bridge from where you're at to where you want to get to. You're building it brick by brick. You're bringing it layer by layer. You're building it piece by piece. So that's how it connects. That's the bridge. Marketing, advertising, the bridge. You got to promote, you got to market, you got to advertise. If you're not doing that, your competitors are. So don't get left behind. Don't fall into obscurity. Don't be forgotten. Don't be seen and forgotten. Don't be ignored. Be seen, be heard, be visible, and keep showing up, keep staying relevant, and keep on it. Keep on the marketing game because all marketing works if you don't quit on it. As long as you don't quit, you keep committed to it, it's going to pay off for you. It may not be right away, it may not be overnight, it may not be on your timeline, but just when you're about to break through, many business owners give up. They stop. They stop the campaigns. They turn everything off, and then they want to say this didn't work when they were just one more step, one more campaign, one more before they were about to just blow up. And because they did that, then their competitors swooped in, choom, and took away their harvest that was ready for them. So don't let that happen to you. You know, you've been sowing, you're not sowing in vain. You're not planting seeds just to plant. You're going to have a harvest. You're going to have, you know, something come out of it. But just stay with it. Stay with me here. Stay with me on this channel. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the subscribe, like this video, comment down below. Let's stay connected. Follow me on the social platforms. I'll follow back. Let me know what we can do to help you guys grow. If you guys want a deeper analysis, we can give you guys, an SEO audit. We can kind of do an online presence report, kind of gauge where you're at, where you're positioned. We can schedule a free strategy session to dive in deeper on it, see the results, see what we can do for you, see where you're at, see what you have to work with, and then we can put the right game plan, the right strategy in place So we make sure that we run the plays, we execute to get you the results that you want. Where you're looking to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, where you're trying to go from 7 figures to multiple sevens, 8, 9 figures, you name it. We got the right game plan, we got the right strategy to help you grow. So this has been Marketing Mondays. I'm your host, Noah Presma of Soaring High Marketing Solutions. Go ahead and give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next show. Over now.